Imagine you're driving alone across a wide, empty desert. Headlights slice a tunnel through the night. The radio is low, the road goes on forever. Up ahead, something moves at the roadside. A coyote, maybe. You slow down. Its eyes catch the light and flare red. Then it stands. Not on four legs, but on two. It turns toward you with a head that looks wrong and human hands that look wrong. And some small, terrified part of you knows this is not an animal. These are the stories of the Skinwalkers. The Navajo call them Yi-Naldlushi, roughly, he who goes on all fours. Outsiders call them Skinwalkers, but the name is only a shadow of the thing the people of the Southwest speak of in low voices. In Navajo tradition, these aren't simple monsters. They are people who chose a path of dark power. They are witches, human once now changed, who have bent their practice to something cruel and dangerous. The change is said to strip away what makes someone human, until the thing that remains is all hunger, all cunning, all night. It's important to say this with care. Within Navajo communities, these stories are sacred and private. Talking about them casually is not only disrespectful, it's dangerous inside the culture. That warning, that hush, is part of the legend's power, and it's why these tales have kept their teeth. What makes a skinwalker terrifying isn't just how it looks, it's what it can do. They slip between forms with unnatural speed. A rustle at the edge of the campfire becomes the low growl of a wolf, then a man's voice calling your name. They mimic the sound of children, spouses, parents, everything trusted, to draw people away from safety. People tell of headlights matched for mile after mile along a loneliest highway, an animal keeping pace with a speeding car. Campers report a silhouette just past the edge of firelight, too tall, too thin, moving in a way that shouldn't be possible. Sometimes a scratch appears at a window where no hand could reach. Sometimes nothing is left of the person who answered the call. The stories emphasize not just fear, but transformation as punishment. The Skinwalker's power is isolation made manifest, cut off from honest human life. They live in the shadows, feeding their influence with curses, thefts, and manipulations. Their speed and stealth make them hunters of the night, and their ability to copy voices makes them hunters of the living heart. And then there's the silence that surrounds these tales. Among the Navajo, you'll often find an uneasy refusal to speak openly, names avoided, details kept from strangers. Elders will warn, if you call attention to these things, you might draw attention in return. That very taboo is the thing that keeps the legend alive and heavy. By refusing to recite it like a snack at a campfire, the community keeps a boundary between curiosity and harm. So when you tell this story, do it knowingly. This is more than a spooky camp tale. It's a tradition rooted in a people's history and moral world. A cautionary, terrible myth about what happens when power is used to destroy the ties that bind us. And if you listen to the old warnings, if you respect the hush those stories bring, you'll understand the last quiet line the elders always leave you with. To speak of them freely is to invite a gaze you cannot control. But the stories don't stay locked in the past. Sightings still happen and the fear hasn't gone away. If anything, it's grown. In Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah, locals still whisper about strange shapes crossing desert roads at night. Figures too tall, too thin, moving in ways that don't make sense. Drivers report eyes shining in the dark, glowing not from headlights but with their own light, like embers carried on legs. On lonely stretches of land, some have heard scratching on car doors or tapping on glass, only to find nothing there when they stop. And then there is the most infamous location of all, Skinwalker Ranch, Utah. To outsiders, it's become a legend in its own right, a hot spot for the paranormal. Ranchers have reported mutilated cattle with wounds no animal could make, lights hovering in the sky, and strange creatures lurking at the edge of the property. Some describe wolves so large they dwarf ordinary animals, their bodies solid but resistant to bullets. Others swear they've seen beings moving in and out of the darkness, always watching, never caught. Whether you believe the stories or not, Skinwalker Ranch has turned into a magnet for the strange, a place where the line between folklore and modern mystery blurs, and it doesn't stop there. The legend of the Skinwalker has seeped into popular culture. Horror movies have twisted the myth into nightmare fuel. Video games borrow their name and their powers, and creepypastas spread distorted versions of the story across the internet. YouTube videos and TikToks claim to show encounters, eerie voices in the night, figures caught just at the edge of camera light, unexplained shapes sprinting across roads in the blink of an eye. Most of these are hoaxes, exaggerations built for clicks, but they prove one thing. The Skinwalker isn't fading. Its presence is alive in the digital age, carried from campfires into screens, from old traditions into global imaginations. But ask someone from Navajo country, and you'll hear a different perspective. To them, the pop culture versions are only fragments, exaggerated masks of something far deeper, far darker. The real stories aren't entertainment. They're warnings, lessons wrapped in fear. That's why the subject is taboo. The more it's spoken of, the stronger the attention it draws. And even now, many Navajo refuse to name it outright, believing the act itself invites danger. That's the final chill. The idea that even talking about it might be enough. That to watch a video, to speak its name, to tell its story aloud is to shine a light into the desert. A light that might be noticed. Because according to the legend, the Skinwalker doesn't just hunt in shadows. It listens, waits, and if the stories are true, then even speaking of it here may already have drawn its gaze. And the warnings aren't just words from the past. People still tell stories of seeing them, of feeling their presence when no one else was around. Not just once, but over and over, whispered in quiet voices, traded like secrets that can't be ignored. Drivers describe it first. They're alone, speeding across a desert highway that seems to go on forever. The road is flat, the sky moonless, and the only sound is the hum of tires on asphalt. Then something moves in the corner of their vision. At first, it's easy to explain away. A coyote, maybe a stray dog keeping pace with the car. But then the driver notices. It's not falling behind. 60 miles an hour and it's still there. They glance again and now it's running closer. The legs are too long, the shape too distorted. It rises not on 4 legs but 2. A figure, thin and twisted, almost human but not quite. Its eyes burn red, locking with theirs through the glass. Panic sets in, and when they press harder on the gas, it doesn't matter. For a moment it keeps up, and then nothing. The roadside is empty. The desert swallows it whole, leaving only silence. Campers too tell stories they swear are true. The fire dies low, shadows grow thick, and the night closes in around them. Just beyond the edge of the light, something shifts. A silhouette, tall and unnatural, standing too still among the trees. At first it's only movement, but then the voice comes. A familiar voice. Maybe a brother, maybe a friend, maybe even the sound of their mother calling softly from the dark. Perfectly matched down to every tone. It asks for help or simply calls their name. The instinct is strong, like step forward, answer, trust. But deep down, something in the voice is wrong. Campers who follow that sound sometimes return with a story. Others never return at all. The vanishings are where the whispers turn darker. Hunters who followed strange tracks into the brush. Paw prints that stretched into something eerily human. The trail stops, but the hunter doesn't come back. Children who wandered toward the desert at night, following voices only they could hear. Doors left ajar in the morning, scratches deep into the wood, as if something clawed to be let inside. Explanations are offered, but they never stick. And when the desert refuses to give back its missing, the stories always land in the same place. It was a skinwalker. That's what makes the legend so powerful. It becomes the explanation for everything that doesn't add up. For every shadow seen at the roadside, for every scream carried on the wind, for every disappearance that has no body, no answer, no trail. In communities near the desert, the fear is constant, but so is the silence. People may whisper among themselves, but rarely beyond that. To question too openly is to risk drawing the wrong kind of attention, and so the desert holds its mysteries. Stories half told, warnings unspoken, disappearances left unsolved. What lingers is the sense that someone, or something, is keeping the secrets hidden, watching from just out of sight, waiting, always waiting.